Hi and welcome. I'm here with Lyn Lofthouse, the floral director of Phoenix Decorating Company. And Lyn, first off, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us here for this interview today. First question I have to ask is, you guys started in 1985, decorating and creating floats. How did that process kind of begin, and where did the origination of that idea come from?
Well, my husband was in, his family was in floats early, his dad. And then I was at another float company for a while, and then I went to another one where my husband came to too. And then we met there, and his dad was friends with the owner of the company that I was with. And then so we were all kind of there together. And then both the older gentleman, my father-in-law, and the other man became business partners. And down the road, when he passed away, we were already starting to take over and become Phoenix Decorating.
Can you tell us about how exactly you're able to determine stem counts during the ordering process, and kind of how you're able to kind of generate those numbers, because it's such a complex and on the dot type of thing to do. So I think I was just kind of interested to hear how you kind of reach those numbers.
Well, because we do so many floats here, like sometimes we do as many as 25 units. So each float, as they're getting painted and I've seen the rendering what colors there will be, I start measuring every area of the float, and then I do calculations for how much square footage is going to go in different areas. And that varies depending on flowers, because some flowers are bigger and some are smaller. So I just over the years have learned how to do that. So it's just something I know how to do now without kind of heavy duty thinking on that part. And then I calculate how many flowers I need out of that square footage. And then with all the floats we have, if we have the same colors, which we do on several other floats that match, I just add that all up and then end up giving it to Mayesh.
Are the effects of COVID still being felt here throughout the float building process?
Not in people coming down and working. The year after, because we were closed for the year, shut down, which was very scary for us financially as a family. And but this first year when we came back, we didn't have as many volunteers because people were still, I guess, afraid to come out. And this year, that's not the case.
You said it best. I mean, that time was such a scary time on so many aspects, not just from a health standpoint, but financials and stuff. So can certainly understand what that feels like, and I'm definitely glad to be back in a more I guess what they say, what feels like normal again. When the flowers arrive, how exactly are you guys able to organize exactly which float, which direction that they'll be heading to arrive to the certain float that they're going to be placed on? You know, obviously if you weren't so locked in on the organization, then you would think that stuff would it would just be kind of like mayhem out there. Is that what you'd say?
Oh, definitely. I'm an organized person anyway, so this is right up my alley too. Everything has to be right where it is. And as I've told, some of the people that work for us, and they go, why do you do that way? And I go, because if I don't have it super organized, when we get here with all the volunteers and things get a little chaotic sometimes, or crazy, or somebody's taken the wrong thing by mistake, then I can correct it quicker. But if it was already at that stage of whatever or crazy, then I might not be able to stop that or pull it in fast enough.
Yeah.
Because there will be things happen, because there's so many people on the floor, things are happening fast, and it just happens.
14 and a half miles is the journey that the floats will be taking to Pasadena for the parade. How are you able to get those floats to Pasadena without damaging the flowers at all? On kind of a long trip for these floats.
Yeah, well, the convoy takes from, I think the guys start leaving anywhere around 6 p.m., 7-ish. Once we get police escort, and then we move out. And it's a very slow trip. I think the floats only go about 3 to 5 miles an hour. I mean, it's a really slow trip with lights all over all our trucks and stuff to say we're coming. And we don't arrive till 2 a.m. So it's a long trip, and because of the, floats don't go fast anyway, you know, but there's no point in drag racing them across the Pasadena. And yeah, we lose a few flowers. You lose a few flowers going down the parade route even, you know, but most of them, not a problem, you know. The only thing we have to worry about is if some of the cities haven't trimmed their trees and are hanging over, but most of the time everybody knows that. I have seen a couple times when they've gone around because somebody didn't trim a tree, and because it'll knock off a good portion of the float if, you know, the decoration. So, but we're very careful. Don't have any problems usually.
I mean, that would be terrible. Has that ever happened where a tree is like, really?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Not fun, because then we got to repair it at 2 a.m. on the parade line.
Talk about a freaking scramble mode at that point, right? When a company requests for a float, do they ever kind of do they ever say, like, we want flower A, B, C on the float, or they kind of just trust you guys and leave you guys to your own devices on that?
It's rare they want a certain flower. They let us do that. It's more like them picking the design is more important, it seems to them, and then they just let us go. Once in a while I've had somebody, you know, a client say, I really need this here, and we usually always accommodate. We don't say, oh no, we do it, you know. But most of the time we're free to make it look as gorgeous as it's going to look for them. Yeah,
and I gotta figure that's a big kind of draw to being able to do something like this, is that kind of artistic creativity for sure. Finally, so after the parade's concluded, everything's said and done, what do you guys do with the flowers after the parade reaches its conclusion?
Well, when they come back to the building, because they'll sit and people view them for a day or so. I think this year, I don't know if viewing lasts more than the parade day, because usually if it's a weekend, people will view them for a few days and then they come back to our building. But our crew strips the entire float of everything. We save all our vials. Our vials are so old, but they work forever, you know, unless they're broken or something. So we save all that. We save a lot of things that we can. Once in a while, we'll have groups come in and they will take the fresher flowers and they'll take them to convalescent homes and hospitals to give to people there.
Well, Lyn, I want to thank you for joining us here today. Absolutely amazing for you to take some time out of your busy schedule to accommodate us here today. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we cannot wait to see how your guys' floats are going to turn out this year. So thank you very much. Do you have any final comments that you'd like to say?
Well, I love working with Mayesh. They're like family to me. I've told Pam so many times she's like a sister to me, and I love working with Ted. I could not do it without you guys backing and all the stuff you guys do to make it easy for me.
That warmed up. I feel like my heart just grew 3 times today just hearing that. So thank you very much. Thank you. Well, that does it here from Phoenix Decorating Company. Thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to these floats on the Rose Parade come January 2nd, right? January 2nd this year. So thank you for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.